Paul Barron talks to the Quark brothers, and they talk a lot about Ripple XRP and how much it will cost in the future. Aside from that, Aldo says that in 7 days, US markets will really be worldwide. What's going on here? I know what to do. You need to pay attention. There are some changes and news on Crypto Erie. We'll also talk about some other things about Ripple and XRP later, but let's start here. Which brings me back to my last question for you, Dom. You had, I think it was a $1,000 thesis. Was it because the Swift model was starting to change the growth of the XRP record, or maybe the growth of stablecoin, or a mix of all three? That is, after all, an interesting question. A lot of people asked for a more in-depth answer, which I'm working on right now. But I think that, for this reason, at least as a whole, Swift is a big part of it. But a lot of it is also based on the use cases that we're seeing in real life. In real life, all of these great projects are being made that will use XRP in different ways in the future. Obviously, DeFi and finance are big use cases. But as I said before, billions of dollars are sent from people in the US to people in other countries for all kinds of reasons, including business transfers, charity, and other uses. And finally, when these apps are really used by businesses, that's where you start to see more action on the XRP ledger. Obviously, a huge, multiple times explosion. That's also where people start to focus more on just, shops, looking at tech and other things like that. That's why the prices of things from companies like NVIDIA have gone up 1,000 times. People in stores start to realize that AI is really taking off now. What is the best way for me to invest in the NVIDIA goods that you sell? In the end, I think the most interesting part of the C Ori will be when the 93% of people who don't currently own crypto come into the space and learn about XRP. Of course, this doesn't include accountants who don't have access to the internet, etc. That was really quick at the start. He asked them because he thought the price of XRP would reach $1,000 by 2030. When he made that statement, I thought to myself, man, this guy's a developer. He's been there. It sounds like he is very smart. It looks like one of these guys is like summa cum laude, a really smart person, right? I believe they are both very smart. I was thinking what evidence there was for that $1,000 guess, right? What kind of math does he use to get to that number? Was it just something he posted to get views and clicks? He may have said that he is getting it together. I could be being a little, I don't mean to be rude, but wouldn't you already have this together? For example, if you're going on TV for an interview or to promote your business in front of everyone, you should have the information ready, right? The reason being that we want to know how you got this $1,000 and what needs to happen for this to happen. That being said, let's go. You're on top of the price, right on. Aside from ETFs, you got it. I also think that professional money managers will start to see it. It's just computer things in general. It will really help. Yes. The top 10 will really benefit from it, and the top 5 will obviously see the biggest gains. That includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and other coins. But, fund managers don't usually like to go really deep and make more risky plays. That is, the ones with the most turnover, or the pieces that look the best to them, so to speak. They will be at the top of that list of coins for sale. I might be being too picky, but if you're going to try to be a leader in your field, deal you. Work on a big project and have millions of people looking at you, then let's have some of that data ready so we can figure out, at least when Jake predicts the price, he says these things neat. Here's one more clip. There was a big alpha drop by the Quark brothers on Paul's show. Let's pay attention. Certainly. I just showed Canary Capital launching their XRP Solana 88. This was their crypto thing that was made in the United States. Steven on last week. It was a great talk, but Steven said something very important. He thought that XRP's ETF would be the biggest ETF ever in all of crypto. Dom, I'll begin with you. In terms of movement, do you agree with that? This only has to do with imports. Yes, I would agree with that for sure. Actually, I think that just looking at the number of people who own XRP shows how big it is. I also think that XRP volumes are some of the highest on Coinbase, and that trading volumes are the highest on many exchanges, or at least in the top 3 after Bitcoin. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XLP are definitely the most liquid and most traded names. In fact, the most recent Coinbase report put them just behind Bitcoin. I think that people who don't hold crypto and don't kind of have, okay, these people are getting better, but hold on. The CEO of Canary Capital was said to have said that the XRP ETF and the spot ETF would be the biggest things their business had ever done. So I thought, what other ETFs have they put out? So Canary Trump Coin ETF, Canary Staked Injective ETF, okay, that's fine. That's why they didn't file a Bitcoin or Ethereum. Now you understand why they say this will be the biggest ETF they've ever put out. Do I get it? You have Bitcoin, but not us? You don't have Ethereum? Of course, XRP will do better than Injective and Trump Coin ETF. What do you have planned? I'm sorry. I thought I would see a Solana or something. I wasn't ready to see this. That's pretty cool. Okay, man, that's cool. That's right. In just 7 days, US markets will beat the truly worldwide. What does this mean? What the heck are you talking about, Ondo? I get it. 7 days from now, on September 3rd, 2025, Ondo Finance will start its own global markets platform that will let people outside of the US tokenize US stocks, ETFs, and bonds through blockchain. This will allow trading 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and investors from outside the US Ondo's markets and reach around the world. Ondo's Global Reach is a tokenization tool that puts thousands of US-listed stocks, ETFs, and bonds on the blockchain so that anyone in the world can access them, except for people who live in the US. That's not good. It seems likely that they will need to follow some rules in order to do this, right? Because until there are rules and everyone knows what's what, they will sell a lot of different things. They just can't do it for US. The platform lets you mint tokens right away, redeem tokenized securities for stable coins for free, and move tokens freely using DeFi. There is no platform lock-in. That means this is really special, right? The way I see it, this is what happens when you buy a bank bill, right? When you lock up that money for 6 months or a year, it doesn't matter how long it is. That cash is going to the government. They give you this bond and, pay you bonds every so often. When the bond's term ends, you get your money back plus the interest you earned. This can be done through money market funds, which will give you a higher rate of interest and allow you to trade it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Let's say you need some of that money back because of something that happened in your life or because you want to spend it in something else. You will be able to trade that real ticket in real time every day, every year. You don't need to wait for stores to open or close. You can now do some of these things on the old ways of doing things, but it has to be Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Anyway, access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Non-US investors can trade and deal in US secure. It will really make everything fair for everyone around the world and give more people access to everything, which I think is a great thing. You can also see that crypto is starting to really help the US market here. They have to wait for rules to be put in place, but they're opening up shops around the world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 99% of stable coins in the market are back in US dollars. This is true for all big stable coins. Do you think it's crazy that crypto is saving the US dollar right now? The US needs crypto more than any other country, and in my heart and soul, it does feel that way. But please let me know if I'm wrong. Crypto Eerie says that researchers are waiting to do their homework on leak logos. If you know of any companies that have chosen the XRP ledger as part of their digital plan, please say so in Chinese. This is your starter. Licensed money transmitters working on a standard BIS project now have 244 more key business and financial institution clients for their supply chain solutions. There are 1,352 clients in total, which is 22% more than in 2024. The business has helped 380,000 small and medium-sized businesses get access to digital financial services that are open to everyone. August 26th, total sales of RMB 203.6 billion. Productivity describes ways that compliant stablecoins can be used in the global supply chain. She also gave the links. Crypto Eerie does a great job all the time, and we're glad to have her. I have no idea who this person is now. This was made by Big Sean, he Bitlord, or Crypto Bitlord. People should buy cryptocurrency, according to Big Sean. Well, I'll just let him say that, I said. If it's one time that I'm going to say this crypto, and if it's one time that I'm saying this is now. You're not too late to invest crypto right now tonight. If you can do that shit tonight, you're going to get a return from it. Bitcoin is a good one. Ethereum, what's the other one you said I need me investing that shit tonight? It's about to go. It's a quick flip. Some of us are here for the long term, but I get the quick flip. The interesting thing is I think this is probably more young people who like this person's music or whatever they're doing. Do that with your free time. More young people are saying, yeah, crypto makes sense to me, and people are telling them to buy it. It makes sense to me. I get it. I've had an iPhone since I was a kid, right? I know all of this. Future generations will be able to get rich very quickly over the next 5 to 10 years thanks to this. I wish I had known about crypto 10 or 12 years ago. I think I would be a billionaire now if I had bought Bitcoin at crazy prices, then Ethereum, and finally XRP. But you know what? We have to catch up, learn as much as we can, and grow as fast as we can when we get there. In this clip, Armando Pantoja talks about a 10,000 XRP coin and says that most people get it when they look at the market cap. Everything is fine. Let us hear what he has to say. Do you think XRP will reach $10,000 when it's all said and done? People always ask that.